Great Decommission, 2010, Kuiper Foundation, Taunton, England. Narrated by Nathan F. Conkey. This book was recorded by Nathan Conkey in 2014 for lrnteach.com with the express permission of the author. Preface. One of the serious problems facing the Church in the Western world today is the problem posed by the ministry of those who are considered gifted speakers and consequently idolized by the Church. Stated in its most simple form, this is the problem posed by the prioritizing of the personality, charisma, profile, popularity, stage presence and ability of the speaker as an orator and entertainer over the content of the message being delivered. In short, the triumph of style over content. The consequence of which has been the creation of an intellectually feeble-minded and theologically malnourished generation of churchgoers who are overstimulated by sentimental and mindless entertainment worship masquerading as spiritual edification. The problem has a long history, but it is made particularly problematic today by the intellectual dumbing down process that currently afflicts British culture generally and has produced a semi-literate society. This debasement of culture to its lowest common denominator is inevitable when those in positions of authority and leadership, in whatever sphere that happens to be, have to appeal constantly to the worst predilections and whims of the semi-literate masses, which are manipulated by an irresponsible media world that values the crassest forms of entertainment and the good ratings they generate as man's highest good. The problem, of course, is not confined to the Church, nor to Britain. It is a cultural problem in modern Western society. The problem is apparent in modern politics, where the same obsession with style and charisma, usually perceived in terms of media presence, has triumphed over statesmanship. Consequences have been devastating for the political life of the nation, which has been reduced to an extension of the entertainment world, particularly when it comes to choosing political party leaders. What policies a candidate for leadership would bring to the job, along with his experience and wisdom, counts for very little against the overriding importance of his media image. As a consequence, it would not be going too far to say that some of the nation's greatest statesmen of past eras would have stood little chance of being elected, let alone promoted to positions of leadership in the media-controlled environment of modern politics. And people who would have stood little chance of being promoted to positions of leadership and power in previous generations are promoted to such positions today on the basis of their ability to manipulate their image in the media. The political life of the nation has suffered as a consequence, and we are now at a point where the shallow politics of mere personality has reduced the political life of the nation to an all-time low. That the Church should also have fallen into this ditch is, however, particularly problematic because her role in providing spiritual, moral, and intellectual leadership for society is vital to the health of the nation. Without the leadership of the Church, the nation cannot recover from its present descent into cultural degeneration and the neo-paganism that is its inevitable accompaniment. While the Church is obsessed with the same mindless prioritizing of style over content that is vitiating the cultural life of the nation as a whole, she will remain useless and irrelevant to society, and therefore unable to provide the leadership that the nation so desperately needs, and that can only find its proper context in a worldview created by the dominating influence of the Christian faith. We should remember that the epitome of the gifted speaker is the successful second-hand car salesman. The following essay is being reproduced here in the hope that it will help to encourage the Church to consider and address this serious problem and deal with the silly idolatry that is at the heart of it. The essay was originally the text of a talk given in September 2004 and subsequently published in Christianity and Society, the biannual journal of the Kuiper Foundation. Stephen C. Perks, May 2009. The problem of the gifted speaker, an exposition of 1 Corinthians 2, 1-5. And I, brethren, when I came to you, came not with excellency of speech or of wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of God. For I determined not to know anything among you, save Jesus Christ, and him crucified. And I was with you in weakness, and in fear, and in much trembling. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of God. 1 Corinthians 2, 1-5.